It was a crisp autumn afternoon, the kind where the sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the old brick schoolyard. The children had long since left, their laughter and footsteps now just echoes in the cold air. All that remained were the shadows, stretching and mingling together like the ghosts of memories past. Lena, the school's janitor, pushed her mop slowly across the worn tiles of the hallway. She paused, glancing out the large windows that overlooked the deserted playground. She had always loved this time of day, when the school was quiet, and she could hear nothing but the gentle rustle of leaves outside. But today, something felt different. The shadows outside seemed alive. She shook her head, blaming her imagination, and returned to her work. But as she passed by the window again, she couldn't help but notice the strange shapes moving among the shadows. They weren't children, and they weren't animals. They were too tall, too thin, too strange. Curiosity tugged at her. Lena grabbed her coat and stepped outside, the cool air biting at her cheeks. The playground was eerily still, the swings creaking softly as they moved with the breeze. She walked slowly, her eyes scanning the ground. The shadows seemed to dance at the edge of her vision, slipping away whenever she tried to focus on them. Then she heard it, a soft whisper, like the rustling of leaves, but somehow more deliberate. She turned sharply, but there was no one there. Just the shadows, now longer, darker, as the sun dipped further below the horizon. Her heart began to race. She took a step back, then another. The whispering grew louder, more insistent. It was as if the shadows themselves were trying to speak, to reach out to her. Fear gripped her, and she turned to run, but her feet wouldn't move. She was rooted to the spot, surrounded by darkness. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced into a single figure, a tall, slender shape with glowing eyes that seemed to burn with an otherworldly light. Lena's breath caught in her throat. The figure reached out a long, shadowy hand, and as it did, the whispering became clear. "Help us." The voice was soft, desperate, echoing with a sadness that sent chills down her spine. Lena wanted to scream, to flee, but something deep inside her told her to stay, to listen. The shadowy figure began to fade, the darkness around it dispersing like mist. And then, as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone. The playground was empty once more, the shadows just shadows again, the whispers silenced. Lena stood there for a long moment, her heart pounding in her chest. She didn't know who or what the figure was, but she knew one thing for certain, something in the schoolyard was calling for help. And somehow, she knew it was up to her to uncover the truth. With a deep breath, she turned and walked back into the school, the shadows still lingering in her mind, their mysterious message echoing in her thoughts. The night had fallen, but Lena knew her journey had just